So I do in my physical machine, but if something is goes wrong, then it affects on my physical machine. So I am using a virtual machine. So what we are going to do is, just in case you have a disk and it is, for example, it is a 150 GB hard disk. And I given this 150 GB for entire C drive. But operating system required a 50 GB only. Operating system required 50 GB only. So what I want to do is, I want to separate this 100 GB from this total 150 GB. From this 150 GB, I want to separate this one. So 50 GB is for C drive. Then remaining 100 GB, I can make a multiple partitions, either 20-20 or 40-40 or maybe another 50-50 like that. So I can store my data separately in a separate drives. So why not in a only in a C drive? So if your C drive means your operating system got corrupted, it is difficult to recover your data. So better to save in other drives in case of operating system is corrupted. So your data is safe. Only you can replace the C drive kind of stuff. And it is always better to have a separate data. For example, I have virtual machines. I will put it in separate drive. I have a specific folder like operating system files are there. Means downloaded operating system files, or maybe documents are there, or maybe there is a music files, video files are there. I'll keep it in separate drives. So like that. Okay. Once we create a partition, then it is also required to put a format. Mostly in Windows, we use a format is file system is NTFS file system on. So this is my user account. So I am logging with the password. Okay. So this is the first disk management. We will do it. Let it turn on. So it will take time. It's taking time. Yeah, we got the screen. So how to go to disk management? I want to go from the run command. So go to run diskmgmt.msc. So it will opens the disk management directly. Yeah, I have already done some partitions. So in a previous class. So like this, you can see C drive. E drive is a virtual CD RAM, and there is a E drive is also there. Okay, so it does not contain any data, guys. So my E drive does not contain any data. So what I want to do is just I will go into delete a partition. Okay, I don't want delete. This is system related partitions only. This first one and last one. And I am going to merge this one to show you the practical. Extend volume. So I want to add this 100 GB to my C drive. So now it is C drive with a 150 GB. C drive, refresh. So 150 GB. So it is around 150 GB. So 1 GB is showing very less because of this small partitions. Okay. So I got a entire C drive as a single volume. So I want to save some data like my pictures, my videos, or my virtual machines. I don't want to keep in C drive. So what I will do, I want to do a partition. 50 GB for C drive, 100 GB I want to separate. So what I have to do? Shrink the volume. Shrink the volume. Right click on C drive, then shrink the volume. Now it is asking how much data you want to shrink. Okay. So my C drive is free space is showing. So then I need a refresh button. Refresh. Yeah, it is showing 117.79 is a free space. You can get it from here also. Properties. So 117 free space is there. So if I take 100 GB out of it, then it is only 17 GB free space. Just we do practically, that's it's okay. But otherwise, you have to give more space for a C drive. Like in a physical machines for your physical laptop and desktop, better to give 100 minimum. At least 100 is minimum. 200 for a C drive is always best because you install an applications and you have some downloaded data. So better to give at least 200 GB for C drive. If you cannot give at least 100, least to least 100. But this is the virtual machine just for a practical purpose. And that too I have only 150 GB total space. So I'm going to shrink this C drive. Then I will separate 100 GB from it. So because of 100 GB free space is available, so I can able to do it. Okay. But in a really better to give C drive at least 200 GB free space in a current systems. 1024 means 1 GB. In a MBs, guys, 1024 means 1 GB. And 0 means it's a 10 GB. Another 0 represents it is 100 GB. So shrink. So this 49.36, 1 C drive, remaining is become 100 GB. So it is C drive and then 100 GB. Now this C drive size will be reduced. Can see. So 150 to 50 GB. And free space become 117, become 17 only. Okay, I take out this unallocated. So in this unallocated, you can create a multiple partitions. How many partitions you can totally we can create it? So based on this MBR or GPT. So this is days case initialize as a GPT. So I can create up to 128 partitions. So already three are created. So another 125 partitions you can create it, but we don't create that many. I create simply like a 40 GB 40960 means it's a 40 GB. What happened to this? Yeah. So 40 GB 4096 and it is assigning automatically a drive letter E drive. So if you want to choose any drive letters, you can choose it based on your requirement. Otherwise, leave like that E drive only. If you don't want to assign any partition ID, then also you no need to assign. But without a drive letter, you can't access your drives directly. So I put a E drive. File system, which file system? It is a 40 GB, means more than 32 GB. By default, it is NTFS only. Okay. If you are assigning less than 40 GB, means less than 32 GB, so you will have a choice like a 30 FAT32 or NTFS. Now it is NTFS only. And if you want to give a volume label, you can give. For example, I want to store all my documents, or maybe I want to store my music files. Are not required. all my entertainment. So instead of putting like that, all my entertainments, okay, I will put it. Quick format, of course. Second one, you need to select. So quick format will give you the quick, fast it will be happens. So it is a 40 GB drive. So drive letter is going to be assigned. Yeah, it is assigned E drive. You can see now it is a E drive. So empty drive, you can keep the data as like you can do it. You can create some files here. Like this, you can create a files. Okay, this is we can partition. So 60 GB still unallocated is there. You can create a some more partitions in the 60 GB as per your requirement. Entire 60 GB as another drive, or maybe you can still make a small partitions. For example, I want to create a 20 GB 20480. So 20 GB only. F drive. Okay, here you can see FAT32 NTFS are available. FAT32 is also available. You can create a FAT32. But when you select a FAT32, this option is disabled. So why? Because of FAT32 does not have certain features as NTFS. And the partition size is below 32 GB. So generally we create a NTFS only. See 20 GB F drive is created. So 20 GB F. You can store data in the F drive as you can create it. This is still 40 GB available. So you want to expand this 20 GB to 30 GB like that, you can expand it. So how to expand this 20 GB to 30 GB? You have unallocated space next to the drive. You can add this 30 GB to 20 GB. So look at here. This 40 GB, we can add it to 20 GB. Why it is very small? And I need this type of colors, bright colors like this. So we can add 10 GB from here to here. Then it is become 30. Unallocated become 30. If you add 20 GB from there to here, then it become 40 and this is become 20. Okay. So this is called a extending. Shrinking means cutting. Extending means adding. Understand guys difference?
Yes, sir.
So I want to do extending for F drive. So right click on F drive, extend because I have unallocated next to the F drive only. So from this 40 GB, I want to add only 10 GB. 10,024 means 1 GB. It is 10 GB. Now it is become 30 GB and unallocated become 30 GB. Refresh once, then it is become 30 GB. You can see it is now 30 GB. Okay, so this is disk partitioning. So do you want to create a new partition? Unallocated, new simple volume. You want to extend a volume to which drive you want to extend, then on it. So to extend a volume. So to make sure that unallocated next to it. You want to shrink the volume. So you want to cut the volume. So then go to shrink volume. So shrink volume created next to this volume on. It won't combine to this. For example, on this E drive, I'm going to shrink a 20 GB volume. So how much volume you want to shrink, that much free space must be available. Of course, it is a free disk, not having the more data. So 20 GB I'm cutting from the 40 GB. So it is unallocated will be created here only. This 20 GB I can add it to this E drive. I cannot add this 20 GB to F drive. So that is another important point. I can add this 30 GB to F drive. I cannot add this 30 GB to E drive. In general, by default, I'm telling. So if voice changes, voice certain built-in feature changes, it may support, depends upon the. You can use third-party tools to adjust the volume kind of stuff. Okay. This 20 GB, we can add it to this. We cannot add it to this. If you want to try, F drive, right click, extend. So it is showing 20 GB, we can able to extend. F drive, right. So 20 is there, 30 is there. Okay, extend. So it is showing only 30 GB we can extend, not a 30 plus 20. Okay, so that is also keep it in mind. So I'm extending my E drive. Again, I'm adding this 20 GB to this 20 GB. So then again, it becomes 40 GB. Okay, this is 30, this is 40, this is 50. Okay, you can keep same sizes also, no problem. This is a partitioning part. So I will try to show you this is new simple volume with some 10 GB. This time I'll put FAT32. Now it is FAT32 10 GB volume. This is NTFS volume. This is FAT32 volume. Okay. So what is this F drive? F drive is a NTFS file system. This is FAT file system. We can see side by side. This is F drive. This is G drive. This is NTFS, and this is FAT file system. So why we should use only we are using NTFS because it is giving certain features. The features you can see in a down, the compress is not showing here. So it is having a compression feature is there. Disk compression. So data will be compressed. So you can store more data in the NTFS file system. In fact, there is no data compression. So you cannot store more data in it. So we can compress the data in the NTFS. And what is the second one? Yellow file on the disk have a content indexed in addition to file properties. So your data is indexed in this feature. There is no indexing in the FAT file system. In the tabs also you can see disk quota. Disk quota is not there. Security. Security also not showing here. Remaining are there tools, hardware, sharing, customize, previous version, ready boost. But quota, security, compression, and indexing is not showing. These are the features of our NTFS plus encryption is one more is there. Okay, that's the difference between FAT and NTFS. Mm. So guys, anybody knows what is the is ready boost. Hmm. It's not out of topic, guys. Of course, just I want to tell, try to understand. I have a machine, and machine means I have a RAM, CPU, hard disk, and network like this. Okay. For example, I have a 4 GB RAM. Physical RAM is 4 GB RAM. Okay. So whatever your operating system, your current running applications. Okay. So everything utilize this your physical RAM only. So RAM weight increases. So RAM is it take a data, instructions and load and give it to your processor. Okay. So this is my RAM. Okay. So this is 16 GB RAM. Availability become 4.7 because of I'm running a virtual machine on your physical RAM. Of course, without a physical RAM, you can't work it. And always a physical RAM is first important. That is a main memory. For suppose I'm doing a heavy duty. For example, I'm copying a heavy files from one location to another location. Or maybe I'm running a heavy application, okay, and this entire application is loads on my RAM. So RAM become more busy, okay? RAM become more busy, very heavy load on your RAM. So what people do it is they will create a virtual RAM. Virtual RAM. Virtual RAM means it's not a physical RAM. In some places, in a Unix kind of stuff, they call this virtual RAM as a swap memory. Okay, swap memory is nothing but our virtual RAM. So to install some application or certain, you must have configured this virtual RAM or a swap memory. These virtual RAMs take a space in your hard disk only. Usually C drive or a D drive, you can able to configure it. By default, it is in the C drive only. It takes some space in the C drive as a virtual RAM. It helps your physical RAM to run the applications. Okay, it support your physical RAM. But virtual RAMs are not replacement of physical RAMs. For example, you have a 4 GB physical RAM and another 4 GB virtual RAM you create, or the 6 GB virtual RAM is created. Okay, 4 GB physical RAM, 6 GB virtual RAM. So you think it is I have a 10 GB RAM. No, you have only 4 GB RAM. Virtual RAMs only to help to run the process. Reduce the load on your 4 GB main RAM. Okay. And this virtual RAMs we can able to create under different drives also based on your config. By default, it will be configured inside your C drive. Inside a C drive, there is a page file.sys that is your virtual RAM size. If you go to C drive, view hidden items, you have to select this hidden items first. Next, go to this option, change folder and search options, select view, unselect this option. Can see hide protected operating system files. Recommended, you have to hide it, but I'm unhiding it. Click OK. So this is your virtual memory file system. Okay, page file.sys. Why it is name is a file page file.sys is because of your data stores in RAM in page wise. Okay, so data store in RAM is a page wise. It's a page file system. That's a in a hard disk we can also configure direct storage like this. But hard disk data storage is different. RAM data storage is different. So that is a paging, page file system, all are same. Okay. The way data is stores in your physical RAM, the same way data stores in this virtual RAM also. In Linux kind of systems, people will give, but the Linux administrator give a specific disk partition for a swap memory, virtual RAM purpose. Okay. So in a Linux, but in a Windows, it is directly a part of your existing drive, not a drive partition. So then what is this ready boost? Ready boost is nothing but a virtual RAM only. You can configure in your disk partitions in a pen drive also. You can configure this virtual RAM kind of stuff in your as a ready boost. Guys, understand virtual RAM concept?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay. So that is our ready boost. You can connect a pen drive and you can make that one as a ready boost. So how to configure this virtual RAM? Also, there is a question. So this is a disk partition. Actually, we'll come back to that. Mm, yeah, go to simple settings. Also, you can go to system, about advanced system settings, advanced system settings, so performance settings, advanced. This is the virtual memory. So you can change your virtual memory. This is automatically configured. So you can configure manually. So custom size, you can assign initial and maximum size. But how much you have to give? There is a small calculation. In a Windows, you are having a 4 GB RAM, for example. In Windows 1.2, sorry, 1.5, 1.5 means 6 GB. This is the maximum size per drive, 6 GB. It is better to configure 6 GB. You have 2 GB RAM into 1.5 means it's 3 GB. I have my physical machine is 16 GB RAM, 1.5. How much it is? 16 GB into 1.5. Poor in mathematics also, na? 24 GB. You have 8 GB, then it is 12 GB. Okay. Your actual physical RAM size into 1.5 is your virtual RAM size, total virtual RAM size, maximum RAM size. If it is a swap type, means Linux if you are using, into 2, physical RAM into 2, you can configure max. Even you can go beyond it, but that is a general default point. 4 GB RAM into 2. So 8 GB, the space has to given for a swap memory into 2. Here I am using a 4 GB RAM, so I can give 6 GB here. So it is minimum allowed recommended. So I put a recommended here 1405 and 6 GB 6144 is a 6 GB. You have to calculate, guys. Really, it is 6 GB. How much it is like that? Okay. Simple calculator. 1 GB means 1 GB means 1024 into 6. Okay, 6 GB. Okay. And first we have to unselect this one. Select, click set, it is set. But when you click OK, then it is asked for a restart. If you restart, automatically it will be created. And also you can check the C drive availability. Based on that you have to create. Okay, that's why you should give a more space for a C drive also. But I'm not doing anything. Simple to how to manage the virtual memory. Go to settings, system, about, advanced system settings. So you can see advanced option is selected. Settings, advanced. Second part is virtual memory. Unselect the first option. Then you can change, or otherwise you can see by default how it is created. By default, currently allocated is only 7 MB. Sorry, 700 MB. Recommended is 1405. Minimum is 16 MB. I don't want. I want more. I want to give more space. So I take a recommended as a minimum, and I can give a maximum. So 6144 because of minus 16. So click set. It is set. Okay. Then it will ask for restart now. You have to restart. Uh, okay. This also improves your system speed. This also improves your system speed. Virtual memory. Virtual RAM. So I'm in Windows, right? So what I have done, so then I went to settings, Windows, settings. In the settings, where I went, system, in system, about, advanced system settings. Okay, so for a first one, so then it is already advanced system settings are selected. System, about, advanced system settings, under performance settings. Performance settings. And in that one again, advanced tab it is. So to select settings, under advanced tab, uncheck automatic. I'll take a screenshot from here. Settings, advanced, virtual memory change. This is because of I have a RAM. My RAM is 4 GB into 1.5, which is 6 GB. Okay, this is recommended, and that is C drive. On C drive, I'm configuring, and every drive we can able to configure based on your requirements. Okay. After this, click OK. Restart now. Okay, guys, this is virtual memory. So have you seen this disk partition? We have seen about a disk partition and then virtual memory also, and small differences between FAT and NTFSs. Practically, I didn't show how to check this NTFS and FAT differences. Okay, what is the use? What is meant by security? What is meant by all these things? If possible, I will try to show you tomorrow. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Anything?
No, sir.
Okay. So tomorrow we'll discuss um, BitLocker and sharing folders also. Okay.
Okay,
Guys,
sir.
study. You have a time now, so please study all other from starting. Okay.
Okay, sir.
That's enough for today.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.